This is one of the most heavily guarded commercial buildings on Earth. Here, on the second basement level, lie diamonds worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Imagine you're planning to steal them. You'll face 60 cameras around the building's perimeter, monitored by police 24/7. Entry to the premises is blocked by security guards. Inside the building, there's a security team and, of course, cameras. The entrance to the diamond vault is blocked by a door 30 centimeters thick. Inside the vault is a sophisticated alarm system, a light sensor, a motion sensor, a vibration sensor, and a heat sensor. And even if you manage to get past everything and reach the diamonds, that's just the beginning. Now, without leaving any clues, you need to quietly leave the building, the city, and the country. But that's impossible, even in theory. Yet, just 24 years ago, a 50-year-old Italian man and his accomplices did just that. He pulled off what many journalists would later call the heist of the century. He stole diamonds worth over $100 million using a mop, a piece of styrofoam, and hairspray. In this video, I'll share the details and mysteries of the biggest diamond heist in history. How did the criminals manage to rob one of the world's most impenetrable vaults on one of the most heavily guarded streets in one of the safest cities on the planet? Who were these people and what happened to them afterward? It was spectacular. I'm not talking about the opening sequence, but the details of the heist. A heist that took place over 20 years ago. Yet to this day, there are just as many questions and mysteries surrounding this crime as there are answers. One thing is certain. These guys stole more diamonds than anyone in history. Even if the plot of the movie Ocean's 11 had happened in real life, it wouldn't have been as cool as the story of this heist. And we're going to break it down in minute detail. So, the story takes place in the small Belgian city of Antwerp. Monday, February 17, 2003, at 7:30 a.m. Detective Patrick Pace is getting ready for work. Just then, he receives a call from the local police station. The inspector reports that a theft has occurred at the Antwerp Diamond Center. Detective Pace and his partner arrive near the building half an hour later. Without even going inside, they realize something terrible has happened. Usually, it's empty here at this time of day, but now a large crowd has gathered on the street next to the building. The crowd is agitated, many are crying, and some are hysterical. The detective and his partner go inside. At that moment, a call comes in at the security firm that remotely monitors the security systems at the vault. The dispatcher picks up the phone. He is asked whether the security sensors at the Antwerp Diamond Center vault have been triggered. The dispatcher replies that, according to his information, everything is fine, the security systems have not been breached, and the entrance to the vault is currently well secured. The caller to the security firm is Detective Patrick Pace. And at the very moment the dispatcher tells him that everything is under control, the detective is standing in the middle of a ransacked vault with diamonds and gold bars scattered across the floor. After thoroughly searching the vault, the detectives realize they are dealing with the largest diamond heist in history. Valuables worth over $100 million have been stolen. The thieves have achieved the impossible. The place where the diamonds were stored was considered impregnable. To understand the full scale of what has happened, let's rewind the story a bit. No, that's too far back. Just a little bit. That's about right. The 16th century. Antwerp. It was here that diamond merchants began polishing and cutting diamonds. In their natural state, diamonds don't look particularly attractive. 500 years ago, craftsmen in Antwerp began cutting the stones using special tools, diamond dust, and olive oil, transforming them into faceted diamonds. This is how we know them today: symmetrical, sparkling, and smooth. Since then, it has not been New York, London, or Dubai, but Antwerp that has been the diamond capital of the world. 80% of all rough diamonds pass through this small Belgian city. Dealing in gemstones there is absolutely commonplace, just like working in IT in San Francisco or in finance in New York. In the 1990s, Antwerp even saw the creation of the world's first police unit dedicated exclusively to investigating crimes involving gemstones, the so-called Diamond Squad. The detectives mainly dealt with smuggling. For example, a major event was the capture of a smuggler nicknamed Mr. 3,000 Carats. He was arrested while transporting a 3,000-carat diamond hidden in his ass. If you aren't very knowledgeable about jewelry, you'll be quite surprised to learn that 3,000 carats weigh more than half a kilogram and are roughly the size of a tennis racket. But let's return to Antwerp. Essentially, all diamond-related activity is concentrated in the so-called Diamond District. It consists of 3 small streets lined with drab office buildings. The only business conducted here is the buying, selling, and cutting of diamonds. Every day, gem dealers from all over the world walk the streets. Many of them carry briefcases containing diamonds worth tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars. It would never occur to anyone to grab one of these briefcases and run off. It's simply pointless. Security measures in the Diamond District are unprecedented. They were the same back in early 2000. Access to the district was restricted. There were security checkpoints that let through only a few vetted vehicles. Everyone else had to walk. 60 cameras were installed on 3 small streets, monitored by police officers. If a person entered the district, their every move was recorded on video. During business hours, uniformed police patrolled the area. It was in this very location that the Antwerp Diamond Center stood. Everyone who entered the building had to scan their badge and be checked by security, meaning it was impossible to slip inside unnoticed. The building is, of course, full of surveillance cameras. The vault, the crown jewel of the Diamond Center, was located 2 floors below ground. A massive steel door, 30 centimeters thick and weighing 3 tons, blocked the entrance to a small square room. Inside were a couple hundred individual lockers where the building's tenants stored their valuables, worth hundreds of millions of dollars. You could only enter this room if you had a safe deposit box. The vault door was opened by security guards in 2 stages. A 4-digit code and a physical key, to which only the guards had access. Inside the vault itself, there were no surveillance cameras to preserve client privacy, but there were plenty of other security measures in place. Motion detectors and thermal detectors scanned the space and detected the slightest changes in temperature within the vault. Simply put, no one could be there unnoticed. There was also a seismic detector that primarily picked up the vibrations of a drill if someone tried to break into the vault or one of the safes that way. There was a light detector on the ceiling that detected any light source at night when no one was in the building. In addition, there were special magnets near the door that only connected when the door was closed. Contact between them was monitored remotely by a security company. If contact between the magnets was broken during non-business hours, the company would immediately receive an alert, notify the police, and within minutes the vault would be swarming with police officers. In short, robbing this place was impossible. However, on February 17, 2003, everything changed. Stunned detectives stood in the middle of an empty vault. After a thorough examination of the crime scene, the police had not a single lead. No one knew how the thieves had gotten inside. No one knows how they left the building. It was the perfect crime, committed by a criminal mastermind. The story of the heist of the century begins a few years earlier. In the year 2000, Leonardo Bartolo arrives in Antwerp. He is in his early 50s. He is a handsome, pleasant, sociable, slightly overweight Italian. He rents a small apartment in the center of Antwerp, very modest, with a small bed and a tiny kitchen. Leonardo is from Turin, Italy. There, he works in the jewelry business. Antwerp is the perfect city for finding resources for his business. Our protagonist rents an office in the Antwerp Diamond Center. This gives him the opportunity to document all the security measures in the building in detail. He also closely observes the security personnel. A brief conversation and an exchange of pleasantries, all to learn as many details as possible. But the main perk Leonardo Bartolo receives as a tenant is access to the basement level. One of the safe deposit boxes in the vault belongs to him. For 2 years, he has been living between Belgium and his native Italy, where his family is. By that point, he already has grandchildren. Returning to Italy, Leonardo Bartolo carefully analyzes the information with his accomplices. Every member of his team is a top professional in their field. One is a lock-picking specialist, another is a master at making duplicate keys, a third disables the alarm system, and so on. Apparently, the accomplices didn't just work out the robbery plan on paper, they built a real-life replica of the Diamond Vault. There, they honed every stage of the operation, and although the police never managed to find this place, they are certain it existed, simply because otherwise it would have been impossible to pull off the entire operation quickly and without mistakes. It took the accomplices more than 2 years to prepare. The operation was scheduled for the night of Saturday into Sunday, February 15, 2003. At that time, a major international tennis tournament was taking place in Antwerp. The main prize was a statuette in the shape of a racket with a shuttlecock, made of diamonds and precious metals. It was also the weekend immediately following Valentine's Day. In short, there were bound to be plenty of diamonds in the vault. So, on the night of the robbery, just past midnight, the accomplices drive up to the Diamond District. They stop on a neighboring street, not far from a police checkpoint blocking entry to the area. Since this street is not part of the Diamond District, it is not monitored by security cameras. Several people carrying bags walk past the nearby police station and head toward the garage of the Antwerp Diamond Center. No one is leaving the police station at this moment. Unlike the main entrance, the garage allowed access to the building without passing through the security checkpoint, which required a personal pass from a building tenant. The intruders pick the lock and go inside. Instead of using the elevator, the thieves take the stairs. On the second basement level, they enter the lobby where a 3-ton door now stands before them. It blocks the entrance to the vault. The criminals need to break into the vault in complete darkness, since the light sensor is mounted on the ceiling inside the vault. That's why they needed an exact replica of the room. Under these conditions, the team has no room for error. The door has a combination lock. It consists of 4 digits. One of the accomplices enters the correct combination. Detectives still don't know exactly how Leonardo and his team managed to figure out the code. Most likely, a few days before the robbery, during another visit to the vault, he had a hidden camera with him, which he used to record the security guard's movements. Now there's another lock, which is opened with a physical key. During his numerous visits to the vault, Leonardo noticed that before opening the door, the guard always went into a back room next to the vault. It was there that the thieves found the key they needed and unlocked the door. Of course, this was a stroke of luck, but just in case the key wasn't there, the team had a member who was a master at picking locks. The final layer of security: 2 magnets. When the door is opened, they separate and trigger an alarm, so the accomplices simply unscrew both magnets together without disrupting the magnetic field between them. The thieves push the magnets aside, open the door, and enter the vault. At that moment, they hear the most pleasant sound in the world: silence. Not a single alarm sensor goes off. First, the tallest member of the team covers the light sensor on the ceiling with electrical tape. Only then can the accomplices turn on their flashlights. Up until that point, absolutely everything had taken place in pitch darkness. Wait, what about the other sensors? Why didn't they go off? That's exactly the question that crossed the minds of the most observant among you. And here, the principle that genius is simple came into play. A couple of days before the heist, during one of his visits to the vault, Leonardo brought some hairspray with him. When he was left alone there, he sprayed the heat and motion sensors with it. This was supposed to disable them for a while. The idea worked. The catch was that his accomplices didn't know how long the hairspray would last. The sensors could go off at any second, so the thieves took out a mop they'd prepared in advance, attached a piece of foam to it, and positioned the contraption in front of the heat and motion sensors. Now they definitely wouldn't go off. The rest is a matter of technique. The thieves break into the safes, retrieve the contents, and pack them into bags. A few hours later, having emptied more than half of the safes, they wrap up the operation. Why did the thieves stop at just half? Well, simply because they couldn't fit anymore. Don't forget that they came here on foot and have to leave the same way. The thieves even left some of their tools at the crime scene. When you have a choice between taking an extra piece of gold or a crowbar, no one will choose the crowbar. With their bags packed, the accomplices are ready to leave. But first, they need to resolve one more problem. You remember the 24-hour surveillance cameras inside the Diamond Center. During their preparations, Leonardo discovered that no one monitors the footage online around the clock. On weekends, the cameras simply recorded footage, and the security guards reviewed the recordings on Monday. All the accomplice has to do is retrieve the recordings. Once that's done, the thieves leave the building the same way they came in. At that moment, the group splits up. Some get into a car, while the rest go their separate ways. They agree to meet in Italy in a few days. On February 17, 2003, just over a day after the robbery, the detectives realized they had hit a dead end. No leads, no clues, and no witnesses. One thing was clear: only criminal masterminds could have pulled off such an operation. The people who robbed the Antwerp Diamond Center were members of the so-called Turin School, an organization made up of highly experienced thieves. They mainly specialized in stealing jewelry. This organization was sort of like Fight Club. The main rule of the Turin School was never to tell anyone about the Turin School. The thieves in this organization used extremely sophisticated methods of theft. Drawing on their knowledge of engineering, physics, and other sciences, they carefully calculated and planned all their operations. Just as the detectives realized that solving the crime would be virtually impossible, they received an unexpected call from a police station in a small town 50 kilometers from Antwerp. That call changed everything. August Van Camp, a retiree, lived not far from Antwerp. He owned a small plot of forest located next to a busy highway. He took walks there every day. The local police often received calls from Mr. Van Camp complaining about trash that appeared to have been thrown out of cars driving along the highway. On that day, February 17th, Mr. Van Camp also discovered someone's trash in the woods. He immediately called the police. Accustomed to such calls, the police listened to the old man with patience. However, the moment he mentioned that there was money and precious stones among the trash, the police rushed to the scene. The thieves assumed that the spot where they dumped the trash was completely safe. A remote forest not far from the highway, who would ever find it there? But this very small patch of forest, the only one for many kilometers in either direction, was privately owned and belonged to that very same Mr. Van Camp. Despite all the meticulous planning and attention to detail for which the Turin School was renowned, instead of destroying the trash, they simply dumped it. The police spend the next few days examining this trash. In addition to documents from the Antwerp Diamond Center and currency from various countries, they find small green stones and food scraps with traces of DNA from unidentified individuals. There was also an interesting document among the trash. It contained the details of one of the companies that rented an office in the Diamond Center. The head of this company was Leonardo Notarbartolo. A police officer discovers that the safe deposit box belonging to Leonardo Notarbartolo had not been broken into during the robbery. So, how did a document from his company end up in the robbers' trash? Among the discarded items, the police also found cassette cases that presumably contained CCTV footage. However, the cases themselves were empty. The detectives speculated that the recordings might have been thrown away somewhere nearby. After combing through nearly 30 kilometers of forest, the police found several tapes. More than a dozen detectives gather in the room. They insert the tape into the VCR and stare eagerly at the screen. They're about to see the robbers' faces. A few moments later, a porn video starts playing on the screen. It turned out that the tapes found elsewhere in the forest were not the missing recordings from the boxes. They were just ordinary porn videos that other people had thrown away. Nevertheless, the lead involving the documents in Leonardo Notarbartolo name paid off. The police search his empty office and then go to his apartment. There, among other things, they found small green stones on the carpet. Ultimately, thanks to the evidence found in the trash, the police managed to arrest 4 people involved in the crime, including Leonardo himself. During questioning, none of the detainees said a word. By court order, Leonardo Notarbartolo was sentenced to 10 years in prison. His accomplices received shorter sentences. Leonardo was released early in 2009, 6 years after the robbery. At that time, he gave his only interview, in which he spoke briefly about his life story. Leonardo Notarbartolo committed his first theft when he was just 6 years old. His mother gave him some money and sent him to buy milk. In the end, little Leonardo brought back not only the milk, but even more money. It turned out that the milkman had fallen asleep during his visit, and the boy, taking advantage of the situation, stole from him. Despite being punished by his parents, Leonardo continued his criminal career. In elementary school, he stole money from teachers' bags. As a teenager, he moved on to car theft. By the age of 30, Leonardo Notarbartolo had begun assembling a team of unique professionals, each of whom had mastered specific skills ranging from lockpicking to bypassing alarm systems. The heist at the Antwerp Diamond Center was their masterpiece. Detective Patrick Pace still wonders why these intelligent and talented people devoted their entire lives to robbery, since each of them could have had an incredibly successful career doing something great for society. And this is far from the only question that remains unanswered nearly 20 years after the heist. It is unknown who commissioned and financed the operation. A couple of years of preparation, the construction of a replica of the vault, and paying the accomplices, all of this cost a great deal of money. According to unconfirmed reports, Leonardo's brother was an important member of the Sicilian mafia. He was the one who initiated the entire operation, covered the expenses, and ultimately received the lion's share of the profits, though this is merely a hypothesis. It is also unclear where the other participants in the heist are. DNA from other individuals was found on the evidence. Detectives believe that about 10 people were involved in the operation, but only 4 were caught. And the main question on everyone's mind is, where is the money? According to rough estimates, the thieves made off with diamonds and other valuables worth more than $100 million. No one knows the exact amounts, by the way. Many of those who lost their diamonds never even reported it to the police. The fact is that most transactions involving precious stones still take place behind the scenes. That's just how the world of diamonds works. It's impossible to trace the path of specific stones or identify them. Most likely, the stolen stones were sold either by the robbers themselves or by those who commissioned the heist. Ironically, the stolen diamonds could have made their way back to Antwerp and entered the market. So, if any of you own diamond jewelry, there's a chance that these very stones were stolen in Antwerp on February 15th, 2003. Thank you for watching until the end. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon, and see you in the next video.